Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about some comments that I made today at a county commission meeting in my city about mask thing. We have a Democrat who is a governor, and she issued some executive orders. She was playing politics at the end of the legislative session in 2020. The legislature came in at the last minute and kind of spanked her a little bit. She was trying to pass legislation on her own, and every state has their own constitution and their own laws. So I want to call the operators, but the people who implement the government, the elected and appointed officials, work within the framework of the laws of that state, within the overall umbrella of the United States Constitution, and we're lucky to have that. So the legislature makes laws, the governor doesn't. In the springtime, the governor issued these guidelines, basically, and she called them an executive order. Immediately, the Attorney General said, and it's on their website, "Thank you very much, we're not enforcing this." She can't make a crime. That's a law. She can't do that. She made this mask rule, and I spoke at that first one, and then the counties could opt out, and most of the counties said no thank you and opted out. My county, which is the economic driver for the whole state, affirmatively opted in, which they didn't have to do because they would have already been included, except unless they opted out. So they kind of did it backwards. And I attended that hearing, and that one people were all over the place, up in arms. We don't want this. And a few people said they did want it. Some doctors testified that, oh, well, you should have a mask, but they weren't wearing one. So it was what it was. So then, the summertime went on and things relaxed, and then they brought in all of these test kits, and now test results went up. So they said, oh, the governor re-upped her mask situation. Our county had already adopted it, they're fine, but then they said we're going to implement a fine. So that was the hearing today I went to. The comment that I made was, wait a minute, people are arguing about cases. There hasn't been a virus separated and identified. It's not a deadly disease. 99.98% of the people, if they even get it, whether it's just a regular cold or flu, whatever it is, are fine. And so, and the tests are questionable. Carrie Mullins developed the PCR test, and it tests for an RNA, which is a component of, it's part of genetic material, because viruses are only attached to actual living material, your cells in your body. They're not these extra boogeyman things. And once your body, from my understanding, once your body has processed through your immune system, has, taken care of whatever is bothering it, some of these fragments are left over, and they can find them in the dead cells or what have you. So that some of the tests are taking some of these samples, and they look through a microscope, and the person who invented the test said it wasn't intended to diagnose or verify that someone has an active infection in them. That's not what it's about. Then the other thing is, when they take the slide and look at whatever they're testing, they have to magnify it. And for what they're doing these days on these tests is to magnify it 35 and 40 times. And you can also look other sources and see that invalidates it, because they're digging through on purpose to try to find something, whereas if it was right there without that type of detailed magnification, it would be more persuasive, is what they're saying. So they doubt the truthfulness of this anyway. And then we have the other anecdotal evidence of fruit being tested positive, multiple people saying they got 2 tests and one was positive, one was negative. They're false positives. They make an appointment to get a test, it's canceled, they get a notification that it was positive. I went in there to talk to them about the Constitution. And the basis for that was all of the people that I was speaking to took an oath. People that are elected in office or appointed in office take an oath. Most of them are generic by the state. I would have to look for your state. You can look for your state, and this is what I would suggest for you to help you understand what their job is towards you. There are going to be regulations and parameters and rules on what this particular subset of your local government, what their powers are over you, and that includes your health department and your commissioners or your mayor, your city council. What exactly is their job? And when you can find out what exactly their job is and then look at what they're trying to do they match up? And also layer over that their oath. In my situation, the oath was they promised to defend the Constitution of the United States, they promised to uphold and defend the state constitution, and then they promised to the best of their ability to do the job of the blank, whatever their job is. In statutes and things like this, it goes in order. Their number one job for the people I was talking to is uphold the United States Constitution, and yet we were there talking about them restricting people's movement by this distancing principle, and restricting people's speech, restricting people, putting masks on people, and closing businesses, restricting the ability of businesses to do their trade or their service, putting rules around what they have to have in their business to separate employees, and all of these, and just really literally getting in your business. And so my focus today was to talk about their oath. And we have in our country freedom of speech, we have freedom of religion, we have freedom of assembly, which is being around other people, in your house, out of your house, at another place, how close or how far that's impacted. And then, you all know life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is your business, and the ability to take care of your family. And that is a guarantee. We have due process, where you can't have penalties or charges or whatever without due process. The ability to have a say before they're implemented, the ability to be known, to be told about it. And then if you are a violator, the ability to have a trial or another proceeding that is not just an automatic and you get a say. So we have all of these rights, and I was there to remind them that their oath started with this part, and that they had to uphold and protect these rights. And they were paying attention. And so this might be something for you to, if you have 7 friends that are going to go and talk about test cases and masks and whatever, this might be an alternative for you to consider too. So I'll talk about this a little bit more on some other things, but I don't want this to run on too long. But I hope this was helpful a little bit. If it was, give me a thumbs up. Share it with someone that might benefit. Leave any comments or questions below. Have you had any experiences? What's going on where you are? If you have any questions about this, subscribe to see the other videos, and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.